Club Interviews with ECTV. On this episode, we'll be speaking to the Computer Club.
Hello everyone, today we will be interviewing Computer Club. With us we have Mr. Conway, who is the advisor, and he will be answering a few questions for us. What is your club about, and what do you do in your club?
In Computer Club, we look at removing viruses and malware from computers. We look at helping students build their own computers or replace parts from it. We also look at how to create various games in different computer programming languages. So students are given an opportunity to learn a new language and they can learn at their own pace. But one of the key things that we do in Computer Club is we prep for the programming competitions that take place throughout the year. And so students have an opportunity to come in to work with one another, to practice, to problem solve, and to see their problem solving come to fruition with the solutions that they submit online to these competitions.
Is there anything interesting going on in your club right now?
So right now, students are prepping for the various competitions that we hold or that we take part in throughout the school year. And most notably, and the most recent one, is the competition held by the University of Waterloo called the Canadian Computing Competition.
How has the pandemic affected your club, and what changes have you had to make because of it?
That's such a good question. As you can imagine, almost all the clubs are probably and have been affected by this pandemic, including the Computer Club. So it was easy to get together, to program, to see games, to kind of compete with one another in our club. And now what we have to do is hold virtual meetings, and we have a Google Classroom where we do relay our information and we prep. But that ability to be there face to face and see each other's programs live, to be able to see that initial reaction has definitely changed. Obviously, we can't build computers. We can try to help remotely to remove viruses. But the biggest impact would have to be that we can't do anything physical, removing the components of the computers, replacing parts, rebuilding, even installing software, which we used to do on site, we now have to do virtually. So it's been a bit of a challenge, but I think we've done pretty well in terms of moving forward with Computer Club.
What do you do to prepare for competitions?
We prep for the various competitions that take place by taking a look at the requirements for each competition online, since some are individual and some are in teams. The beautiful thing about these competitions is that they give past problems, and we take a look at these and we practice these. We work on them together, we work on them individually to determine how we would go about solving them, and then eventually turn that thought process into code. And so this will give us an idea as to the type of questions they ask. We can find patterns that exist in the questions and try to anticipate some of the things that they might ask us to do. And so when prepping, not only do we do that, but we can gather together and we can discuss various approaches for these problems. And then the students can develop a little bit of a challenge between themselves for completing these exercises, just to give themselves a little bit of a push.
What kind of games do you make?
So in Computer Club, one of the things that we do is we take part in one of the competitions, which is about making video games. And so these students will often use languages like Java, Construct 2, Game Maker to create these video games, revolving usually around a theme. And the students will have a couple months to work on them. And these games get submitted and they're judged. It's changed this year because everything is virtual. We used to go to a set location, something like Sheridan College, where we would compete against all the other schools within our school board. Obviously, given these pandemic times, we can't do that. And so what we're doing is we're competing now virtually. For students that aren't interested in competing for the video games, but they just want to play them, they can often act as testers, allowing our students to fix any bugs that may be in their program and to try to make them as flawless as possible. Even still, for those that don't want to be in the competition, they have the opportunity in Computer Club to learn a programming language and develop a game of their own at their own pace.
Okay, that concludes the end of our interview. I'd like to thank Mr. Conway for participating in this interview, and that's all. Bye, everyone.